first, why don't you start by introducing yourself and your role?
Well, good afternoon. I'm Dina Jean, and I work at Texas State Technical College, or TSTC. We have 10 campuses across the state of Texas. And I am excited to say that I get to work on the vision team, where our project is in transitioning our curriculum over to competency-based education, or we call it performance-based education. And so my title is PBE, Program Manager. At TSTC, we are currently in the process of a multi-tiered process for transitioning our program. So right now, the way we've got it planned is for 4 different tiers, right? And the first tier starts this fall. We have 6 programs, plus the supporting first year seminar, Dev Ed, and Gen Ed classes for those 6 programs launching. Then in fall of 2022, we have 14 more programs, and then the rest of our programs follow in the falls of 2023 and 2024. So we are planning on currently going 100% competency-based education, as much as regulatory bodies will allow. Some of our programs, like the FAA and nursing and so forth, may not allow us to go as full on as we would like, but that is the plan currently. At TSTC, we're a technical college, right? And COVID fast-tracked us quite a bit into putting many programs online. So any program that could be taught 100% online, we transitioned over to 100% online. So we currently have online and hybrid programs. Our first 6 programs include 1 hybrid program, our HVAC program, and 5 100% online programs, including our digital media design, business management, web design and development, cybersecurity, and computer networking systems. So all of those are all online except for the 1 hybrid, which is HVAC. And then for our fall 22, we have 14 different programs that have been identified, and all but 2 are 100% online. So we're doing the 100% online ones up front. And then in fall of 22, we've got our automotive and electrical line worker programs that will be going. Those are our hybrid programs as well that will be transitioning over to performance-based education. Our chancellor is a visionary, and he is very up to date and has been researching trends in education. CBE has been a pathway we have been wanting to do for a long time now. And so we have invested heavily in instructional designers and facility renovations and equipment purchases to align our curriculum across all 10 campuses. And so really, I would say it's about meeting the needs of the adult learner and providing the flexibility that the current students need and expect in order to be successful. We are really here trying to make sure that, we offer flexibility, that we are providing credit for their experience through prior learning assessment, and allowing them to be able to go through their classes in an individually paced or self-guided manner, right? So providing that flexibility, improving and upping our quality and rigor through the hiring of the instructional design teams that have come in, and then we'll continue to offer support even after we've transitioned. We've hired additional instructional designers in our online learning department to offer that continuous improvement and be able to continue to move on in realms such as augmented reality and virtual reality and gamification. In reviewing the process and what our framework would look like, we're really modeling everything after the CBEN framework, competency-based education network, right? First of all, you got to make sure you've got your infrastructure and the support of your administration, and then developing that high quality curriculum that's founded on competencies and authentic assessments and the follow through of continuous improvement. And so CBEN has been really instrumental in our journey, as has the work of the institution, right? We have attended the symposiums that are offered, and the research that we've needed to do as far as implementing our efforts in the transition. We have a very detailed process that we work through with our faculty. We call deconstruction. It's really the analysis and design of identifying what's going to be taught and beginning that process of writing competencies and learning objectives. Then we move into development, which is the development of those authentic assessments in a backward design process. And then all those supporting formative and instructional content pieces throughout. So I would say definitely a lot of components have led to where we're at as far as our process is concerned. So we have transitioned several of our programs to 100% online. COVID did definitely fast track that for us. And honestly, it just makes sense for the students in a self-guided curriculum to be able to accelerate through, to have that opportunity. Online offers as far as flexibility for the student. And that's a big component of what we're trying to provide with our performance-based education models. So definitely going 100% online is something that is done with respect to that flexible model that we're looking for the students. A big part of that flexible scheduling includes a subscription model for our students. So our students will be enrolled into their original full-time 4 classes. And then as time permits, if they accelerate, are able to complete all 4 classes, then they will be able to accelerate into additional courses at no additional cost to them. And so we're really excited about that. As mentioned before, prior learning assessment, those students coming in will have established some prior learning assessment. We'll have our framework in place, and for every class, there'll be a rubric that if the student has a portfolio or is able to demonstrate prior experience, they will be able to be assessed on that and either get credit for the class or skip ahead to whatever that competency, wherever the module is that they show readiness for throughout the course. So that's exciting. We get a lot of veterans. We have a lot of students that come to us with some knowledge from the workforce, and being able to reward that knowledge and allow them to accelerate through is really important to us, to place more Texans, which is our mission, right? So as far as OER is concerned, we do want to make sure that when our instructional design team is working with our content matter experts, that's what we call the faculty that the instructional designers work with, those lead subject matter experts, because we look at all of our faculty members as subject matter experts, right? But those that are leading in the deconstruction and development of the courses, the instructional design team does help to identify some OER options whenever possible, because reducing costs for our students anywhere possible for that 60-30 split is part of what we're trying to do as well, right? So making sure that we have a plan in place for that is important to us. So prior learning assessment, OER, subscription model, accessibility, everything is done with the student in mind. And then, of course, a big part of what we're doing involves our partnership with industry and making sure that the curriculum we're designing is aligned with what industry needs. Our student population is extremely varied. So we do have a lot of adult learners. A lot of people come to Texas State Technical College straight out of high school. They've gone through our dual enrollment pathways, and they're coming in and they've matriculated right into completing their degrees that they had started, which is wonderful. So a lot of times they're referred to as traditional students, if there is such a thing anymore. Then we have the adult student population. Sometimes those are coming to us from the military. Sometimes they're coming to us through the workforce. They've been out, they've been involved in getting some experience and now have come back to higher education to get the skills they need to get better paying jobs. So that adult learner is another big part of our learner population as well. And then we have those that kind of fall in between. Maybe they were a traditional student, they went to college, they took a couple of classes, and then they went and worked part-time somewhere, may not have quite the same responsibilities as what we call an adult learner or non-traditional student, but are coming to us with some experience, but still need some flexible scheduling because they're out there in the workforce already as well. So those are our three primaries. Of course, dual enrollment students remain a large part of our student population, and the military as well, those veterans. We're really wanting to make sure that what we're building works for them.
Yeah.
I would say that the biggest opportunity we have is culturally making the shift from traditional education to competency-based, right? It's a mindset shift, and definitely making sure that we're offering the support the faculty needs, the infrastructure support through the registrar's office, financial aid, housing, every support service, every infrastructure department you can think of has to be involved in this process. So making sure we don't have any gaps that would adversely affect our students or our faculty as we go through the process. So a lot of times everybody wants to know why we've called it performance-based education. And PBE, or performance-based education, just as an evolution of how we are already funded as a school, is based on our performance and on our students' performance. It's a value add formula that our college gets funding through the legislature based on the differential of salary that our students make based off of minimum wage, what their actual salary base is. And so it's a performance-based salary funding model, right? So our PBE model for our curriculum, or performance-based education, is now taking that into the classroom, taking that into student learning, and making sure that what we are already being funded on, right, as far as the school goes, carries over, and that we continue those efforts in student learning in the classroom with what we're doing through our curriculum development process. So PBE is a course-based, competency-based education approach. Make no mistake, it is CBE, or competency-based education. Our moniker for it, or our initiative, is just PBE, to follow in those footsteps of our funding model.